right here on Hip Hop Connection. Got a very special in-studio guest. Goes by the name of David Dyson. What's going on, man?
Hey, man. Good to be here.
Glad to have you, man. I've come in contact with you a couple of times. I met you at the Layla Hathaway concert at Wolf Trap, which is a local venue here with a very good concert. And it's like, man, I got to get this guy on my show. So I accosted you on the backstage and, and talked to you. And then we just happened to run into each other on the road.
That's right.
So we heavily tried to make this happen, and I'm very glad to have you in the studio. As you can see, everybody, if you're watching, he's playing bass here. He's got a nice, beautiful bass, and we're going to get him to play a little bit later. But what made you decide on that particular instrument?
Well, growing up, I was just drawn to bass and drums. You know, I used to go to, I used to beat on things, you know, and I was always listening to music. So, you know, my parents would, for Christmas or whatever, they get the little Brady Bunch, Partridge Family drum sets, and I'd beat those to death, you know, because they did fall apart real quick, you know, and then, you know, they'd buy the little cheap guitars, and those would fall apart in a couple weeks, you know. And so, you know, nothing was lasting. And by age 12, I said, look, you know, listening to all these killer bass players coming out, Larry Graham and Louis Johnson, who I was listening to them before I even played bass. So I was like, I want to play bass. You know, they really inspired me to want to play bass. And at age 12, that Christmas, they got me a little bit beginner's bass and, you know, amp, and I think it was a Mel Bay book to learn how to read too. From my first.
And so
I was always drawn to bass. Always drawn to bass.
Manifested itself inside of you, and you became a great bass player. Oh,
thanks, man. Well, hey, it's definitely a part of me. I'll put it that way.
I mean, your resume says it all, and we're gonna let you get into it. When you were 12 and you started to play, what happened with your career after that?
Well, when I started to play, it was like I was really playing in my mother's basement, playing with all the records that I liked. That was pretty much my shedding grounds, you know. You know, I'd put on a record and I'd learn the bass part verbatim, you know, and then I just start improvising on that bass part. For instance, if it was a bass part like you know. And then, you know, I'd learn the bass part through it, and then I'd start improvising, not like soloing improvising, but, you know, it was a precursor to when I started soloing, you know, learning how to solo. And so instead of, and then I'd start adding little stuff to, adding extra accents and things to make it feel better and funky. And I still do that to this day. You know, I learn a bass line and then I put my own self into it, you know.
Wow. Do you remember your first professional gig?
It's a good question. I tell you what, I remember a talent search.
Okay.
That was kind of, you know, a talent search. I won. I won third.
All right.
My best friend won first. He did a gospel, his arrangement of lift every voice and thing, lift every voice and thing, lift every voice and sing, and it was beautiful, you know. And but I should have at least won second. You know, I did a tribute to Louis Johnson, Stanley Clarke, you know, all my favorite bass players, and Larry Graham. And so you know, I thought I did something, but this drummer, you know, because we're in the D.C. area, Metro Talent Search.
He played go-go.
This drummer just came up there and he just laid down a go-go beat. And everybody got up. He got second place. I was like, oh, man. You know.
Go-go got you. Yeah, it's hard to go against go-go in D.C.
I love go-go myself, too. But
have you played with any go-go bands?
Yeah, I played with, you know, matter of fact, recently little Benny passed away, all respect. And I played with and recorded with Chuck Brown, too.
Oh, okay.
Well, I'm on actually the latest record. we recorded some stuff I still haven't heard yet. I hope he puts it out, at some point. But that was a cool gig too, because I always dug Chuck. I've been a fan of Chuck Brown's from the beginning. I used to be in my mother's basement listening to We the People. When I told him about that, he's like, "Oh man, you went way back on me. You went way back on me, big brother."
That's right. That's Chuck. But
I love Chuck, man.
So when you play with somebody like Chuck Brown, like what's like the usual bass line for, say, like Go-Go and a Chuck Brown type situation?
Well, I don't know what you say usual bass line, but it goes with if the drum beat is like, say, Go-Go swing. And that's what you play.
Okay.
It swings too.
Right.
And it hits right with the kick.
Okay.
You follow the kick.
So you and drummers, bass players and drummers have a close relationship.
Oh, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. Go hand in hand.
Go hand in hand.
If you don't, then it's not gonna groove. You got to click. You got to have a understanding musically.
Okay. That's
connection.
Good. That's good. So when you as you play with different groups, name some of the people that you've worked with over the years.
Wow. Well, this New Kids on the Block. That was my first major gig. I did, right before that I was doing Walter Beasley. I just graduated from college. And then I got the call to audition for the New Kids up in Boston, where I went to college. And then I did that for 3.5 years.
And the thing with New Kids, you were the musical director.
Yeah, there was a musical director before me for like the first, I'd say half a year, and he made some moves that they didn't like.
Okay.
And it was some legal things, and then they just fired him.
Okay.
And to be honest, the band was really looking at me for the cues anyway, because he was legally blind, and really he was just hitting on the keyboards all the time. I'm like, all right, here we go, y'all. So I was giving the cues to the band anyway, so then it was a natural thing. And I didn't know what a musical director does. I didn't know how I was supposed to act.
Explain that
to us.
I
didn't have a good, mentor on how to do that. But, I just basically had to get it together and say, okay, I don't have any good mentors to look at on doing it, but this is a big scale, and this is, I'm gonna organize it like I would anything else. I said, okay, well, first of all, you got to establish that respect, because they really didn't respect him. The rehearsals, they'd be saying all kinds of stuff. In the first rehearsal where I was, the musical director, they were young, teenagers, so they were, even with the bodyguards, they were kind of, it could be disrespectful.
Right.
But they tried to disrespect me on my first rehearsal. I said, hold up. I was like, look, we can all go outside right now. We need to do that. And they said no, and that I established, I had to establish that, and then musically, when I started doing arrangements for them and everything, and working with them they do dance steps, and I do, kicks and stuff with the band in relation to the dance steps, and it began to be easy, man. And once I started getting into it, and I say, okay, that's how this works, it's just.
So what was something that you arranged for New Kids on the Block? Play a little something of what you.
Oh man, I'm gonna remember that.
Of course, we gonna bring.
I arranged their Christmas show. I arranged. I remember I played on Step by Step games. The bass line is pretty easy. It was just. But it's funny if you listen to now. When I listen back on the live stuff and stuff we did on Arsenio Hall and everything, man, I was playing like a fool, man. Because I mean, it was a platform, and it was a certain element that was like trying to keep us back too. It's like you just you just the band, and that's true. Yeah, they're the stars, but you're still trying to establish yourself as a musician and as an artist and a producer and writer or whatever you're trying to do, and they want to keep you. Y'all wear black. and they try to keep you back, because you're not. I mean, that's a common thing, when there's an artist and the musicians wear black, so you're not, really,
clashing with
exactly
being seen.
But I mean, shoot, man, on that scale, you want to be noticed. You know what I'm saying?
That's a huge scale.
Yeah, you want to get another gig. You know what I'm saying?